We are igniting the blockchain today and talking about Triffic World, an app running on the blockchain. This is the crypto woman, also known as Elizabeth, and joining me is James Malach and Christian Wallace of Triffic World, and they're here to give us an update on the status of the project and the ICO and when we can actually hold it in our hands and start playing, gamifying our world. Hi, James. You and I talked about this app at the launch of Ardor at the beginning of the year, and you gave us a preview.
Yeah, we did indeed. It's come on in leaps and bounds since then. It's almost unrecognizable, but unrecognizable for the better in every single way.
I can't wait to hear about it. So what about the project development? What has changed? What has improved? What is different?
Well, in general, everything has just become a lot more streamlined, not just with the app development, but with the actual business itself. Like, as we've been bootstrapping the company for sort of nearly 2 years, and Alex, our CTO, he came on board near enough a year ago. Chris came on board after he finished his tour of Afghanistan, his fourth military tour. He came on board in October, and since then we've been developing processes. We've been becoming a very, very sort of like operational business. We've been in the office every day since around about sort of 8:30. We leave like at 6 o'clock. We just have the normal business day. It's like a properly running business now.
That's exciting. So you were telling me about some of Chris's superpowers.
Yeah, I mean, he spent a long time in the army. He's done tours of Afghanistan, he's done tours of Iraq, and he is our COO, which basically means he is tasked with keeping us in place, keeping us in check. He makes sure all of the legal documents are signed. He makes sure everything is paid on time. He makes sure that sort of some of mine and Alex's more crazy ideas don't see the light of day. He loves reading legalese documents and everything like this. So he's a good guy to have on board. He's also the guy behind most of our tweets as well. So
Okay.
he's a
great addition to the team. Hey, I'm going to spring this on you. I didn't warn you about this, but you know, I've seen it written that Triffic is, you know, one of the most legal ICOs out there. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's pretty important today, I think, that you have all the ducks in the row if you're going to do a nice
because we're based in Singapore, we wanted to open up to the Chinese market, the Korean market, and everything like this. And this involved us jumping through so many legal hoops you wouldn't imagine. I mean, it was quite ridiculous. I mean, the migraine headaches that we had after all of these things, but we got there in the end. I mean, it took a lot of toing and froing with the lawyers, a lot of money spent with the lawyers as well. But now we know that we're as compliant as we can be. I mean, obviously the laws change around the world all the time. But as far as we're concerned, we're happy that that in the markets that we want to approach, we're 100% compliant.
Yeah, and our legal advisor is very deep into crypto. So she's a Singaporean lawyer, and she gives very good advice. So we're very happy with her. Yeah. Okay,
and we can keep track of all of those things, of course, on your website, which you're updating all the time with new things.
Yes, we are. It's and the good thing is we've now got the website in Chinese, we've got it in Korean, we've got it in Japanese, and of course we've got it in English. We are actually using the services of Kotabat Translation, which is run by Gabriel Francesch, who is also another big Ardor advocate. He, I think, was also interviewed by you as well back in December or January, I think.
Yes, so he is. He's a great part of our community.
Yeah, he's, I think, currently in Mongolia. I don't know whether he's living in a yurt at the moment, but he's not in Thailand at the moment.
Okay, all right. Well, we wish him the best for sure. So will your app also be in those languages as well?
In Mongolian or in
No,
Japanese?
in the languages you listed, Korean, Chinese.
Oh, it will eventually, but we've got a lot of localization work to do. I mean, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the English language version up and working and running without flaws or anything. Then that's when we get, and then we're going to launch it first of all in Australia, because of the geographical makeup of Australia. It's sort of, even though it's a huge country, the population areas are sort of here, 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 and here, so it makes things a lot easier for us. Once we're happy with the English language, then we'll move into the Chinese, the Spanish language, the Spanish world, and everything like this. So essentially based on the number of language speakers.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to back up now and ask you again. You want to give us a peek? Tell us what's changed. Do you want to give us a peek at the app?
Oh, well, yeah, I can. You've got to remember that because it's a GPS-based app and we're stuck in front of a computer, there's very, very limited stuff that I can show you, but you should, oh, hang on. Let me.
Well, there it is.
So you can see. Yeah. Now, this is the dashboard, right? Or what's the dashboard at the moment? Sorry, let me. And you can see here, we've got a sort of, if I waggle the thing, I don't know whether you can see that, but with, it's compass that sort of tells the direction. Also in the middle here, we've got the number of GPS tokens that have been earned. We have got the current speed, which is now showing us 0.05 miles an hour because I was just waggling the tripod about, and the user levels. We've got lots of stats that sort of help with the algorithm. We also have the route planner as well, which goes into 3D. Again, I'm not really sure if you can see it.
Not the white screen mostly.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, but trust me, there is a 3D map there. You just have to believe me on this, but we'll be able to post like videos of it working and things like this. So that's not really an issue. Now,
well, you have some beautiful screenshots on your website.
Yeah, I mean, the screenshots, everything is being worked on all the time anyway. So the screenshots, even if like they're a couple of weeks old, the chances are they're slightly out of date because development, I mean, even in the past sort of 6-7 hours, we've had 3 updates already. So
really, really active development going on here. The interesting part is those GPS tokens actually mean this is running on a blockchain.
Yes. So it's actually a 2-stage process. The first iteration of Triffic is actually we have got the GPS tokens as an Ignis asset as opposed to a child chain. Now, what that's going to do is it's unfortunately going to add an extra stage at the beginning, but it's also going to make sure that sort of we're not going to be sort of worried about or too worried about scammers or anything like this. What people need to do at the moment, GPS tokens are generated in the app, and in order to get them onto the blockchain, they have to be cashed out. Once it becomes a child chain, that won't be an issue. However, once we sort of need to concentrate on user take-up, growing the user base, and also making sure that any sort of vectors of attack or any like issues are ironed out before that happens. So that's where we're at now. Now, another thing that the way that this is actually monetized is, you can see here this. Hopefully, you can see a red button.
I can see the button. Yes.
Yeah. Now, this is the way that it's monetized, and actually, if we click on it, you can see an advert starts.
Oh, yes.
And that advert's like sort of the maximum will be 30 seconds. It's probably a lot less. So once you do that, you can see that the button will turn green, and you probably can't see, but it's telling you that you've now got 30 minutes of what we're calling Triffic fuel. Now, Triffic fuel, once you've got that, it's the same as powering up a car. Once you've got Triffic fuel, that's when you can start earning GPS tokens. You walk about, the time, the token count goes up. You can see here or you probably can't see here, but hang on. I don't know whether you can.
Something little there in the middle, but about how many tokens can you earn in 30 minutes? Does it depend on your activity?
It very much depends. I mean, our algorithm it can detect whether you're walking or whether you're cycling or whether you're driving. If you're walking, it'll reward you more than if you're driving, for example. So, but what we want to do is we want to make the app all inclusive. I mean, there's a lot of these apps that you can get on, like from app stores and everything that is sort of exercise based or whatever. And that cuts out a large proportion of the market. It also actually cuts out a large proportion of its own market because, I mean, I know myself, you start exercising, you do it rigorously for a month or so, and then all of a sudden you become Mr. Couch Potato again. So I'm not necessarily speaking from personal experience, or am I? Who knows? But the idea is that the life cycle of the app, whereas most people sort of will use an app until they get bored of it, this app essentially people can use forever because people always need to walk, people always need to drive around and things like this. Oops.
People will always need to collect tokens to cash out.
Correct. And also as well, what we will be linking in with is, and this is why one of the main reasons actually why we have chosen Ardor as the Ardor as the blockchain, and we're going to become a child chain, is because it's already got things like the marketplace built in. Now we want, rather than just people to be able to earn these GPS tokens, we actually want to create this ecosystem around it, right? If, for example, we're in Thailand at the moment. There's a region called Isan, which is very, very poor. There aren't any jobs or anything like this. Yeah, it's, oh, you've frozen. You still there? Oh, yeah. There aren't any jobs. It's very, very hard for people to earn money and things like this, right?
Okay.
Also, as well, you've got problems with sort of a lot of areas where sort of money is leached out of local communities because sort of they all have like their McDonald's, they have their Starbucks, all of this kind of stuff, right? Which means when people go in and they buy their McBurger or Big Mac or whatever, the money doesn't stay in the community. It basically disappears and it goes into some kind of centralized central office, right? What we want to do with this is it's going to very, very much target local businesses, so they can, for example, use the app to sort of create vouchers, like sort of sort of local footfall will take advantage of. People who are in the immediate vicinity, they'll sort of all of a sudden get a notification on their phone which will say 20% off a cup of coffee or whatever at Elizabeth's latte shop, and then it'll give them the geographic details, and there'll be it'll plan a route how to get there and things like this. This we've actually found is actually a lot more effective even than things like Google AdWords. The problem with Google AdWords is you're sitting at your computer and nobody's really ever going to sort of think, oh, I've seen an advert for a coffee shop, I'll stop what I'm doing, go down 5 miles, drive whatever, and go to the coffee shop, right? With this, it concentrates very much on local footfall that is traveling through the area at any one time. So if you get a notification, you know that the business is going to be very, very local to you. And it's very good for businesses who can who can attract new clientele. It's good for local people or visitors who want to find new businesses, new establishments and things like this. So
it's actually a local economic stimulus program too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's actually part of the big 5-year plan, because another thing with Ardor is the whole sort of child chain and the monetary system and things like this. Eventually, it will be relatively easy to sort of create your own coin, like Chiang Mai coin or Bangkok coin or whatever, like a geographically restricted coin, which means that people in local areas can still accept these coins. They can still use them in their local communities. But as soon as they step out of their local communities, they can't use the coins. And essentially what that does is it keeps the wealth or the money in the community as well. So like the long-term plan. I mean, Triffic is the start of it, and sort of 5 years down the road, we hope to be doing all this properly.
Well, you know what? It is actually such an exciting project that we've jumped into future plans several times.
Well, yeah,
That's exciting, right? Why not? But something exciting just happened with you in your app development as far as the here and now. And that is you just got approved by Apple. Tell us what that means for your project.
Well, yeah, what we have done is during the first week of the ICO, what the most common question that we were asked was, can I test this app? The people that managed to test the app, almost all of them, they loved the app and they actually invested in the app. The people that couldn't see the app, they tended not to invest because they wanted to see the app, because basically there are so many ICOs, so many scams, so much vaporware and everything like this that they couldn't really tell us apart. So, but the problem that we had, which is like an Apple problem, is if you sort of have like internal testing, it's a very, very complicated process to actually sign people up. First of all, they have to download an app called iTunes Connect. Then they have to register with that. Then they have to give us their email address. Then they have to download a program called TestFlight. Then we have to add their email address to TestFlight, and we also have to add it to Facebook. So it was like a 5-stage process. And we were finding that a lot of people that we were trying to give access to would just go, can't be bothered with this. And also as well, we were only allowed maybe 10 or 15 people that were allowed to do this. As of last week, we've been accepted onto like the proper testers program, which number one cuts down the number of stages from 5 to just 1, which means that we'll be able to add people very, very easily, very, very quickly. And also as well, it ups the number of people that can test from sort of 10 or 15 to 10,000. So that makes things much, much easier for us sort of to get metrics and to get analytics and everything like this. And so this is what we're now going to be concentrating on for the next month. We, regarding the ICO, we were originally going to be having part 2 starting on, was it the 1st of August or the 30th of July?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. But we basically decided, because we've already raised the money that we need to sort of keep us going for the next few months, that we will concentrate on getting the beta test, the testing up and running, so people can actually see what they're investing in, and so they're not so much investing blind and things like this. And the institutional investors as well, they've certainly been like all for that, and that's actually what a lot of them were recommending as well.
I'm going to be a tester. I guarantee you.
Yeah, sorry, you keep freezing. So
I said I am going to be one of your testers, and
you will indeed. So,
I hope I get to blow up my Twitter feed with screenshots and things.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. We'll be posting like videos of the app in action and everything sort of in the next few days, so people will be able to see that. But what we're also doing, and this goes back to us needing to tweak the website, we need to sort of add things about the beta testing. We need to add about sort of the bounties as well. Like we're going to be offering GPS tokens, which are in-app currency to people that can actually properly test the app. We've actually got a couple of very, very good testers at the moment, especially a guy who has just actually moved to Mexico. He originally was in Holland, in the Netherlands. He's moved to Mexico, and he is absolutely excellent. He gives us lots of feedback, and we've had sort of people around Chiang Mai that have been testing the app as well. So it's all been very, very good.
That's wonderful. So what are some of the interesting stats that you've collected or analytics from your current stages of ICO, your current stages of testing? What do you know about your app that you'd like to share?
Well, actually, at the moment, it's more about making sure that the app is stable. It's there's not really much point in getting any sort of analytics when you've got very, very few testers, simply because you need more testers to make it statistically relevant. That's what we're going to do once we've opened the testing to like all the other people as well. So yeah, so that's basically why that's our priority.
Okay, well, I'll be checking back with you about those kind of stats and analytics after we open up the testing, because I think those are going to be fascinating too, to see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's sort of once we can sort of get the proper analytics and everything like that, then we're in a much better position. And we've already got like sort of the back end systems that'll help us analyze things. Alex has been very good at setting up like automated testing and things like this. So we've got everything in place. We just need to now get people testing the app, and now because of Apple, we are able to do that. Wonderful.
So is there anything else that we didn't cover that you think we should have covered?
Not that I can really think of at the moment. I mean, I'll probably sort of after this chat ends, I'll probably be in the taxi back and think, but what can you do?
We'll check again sooner this time with you. Maybe in a couple weeks, you can check in and see how.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, because I mean, I know actually you said the other day about we sometimes have issues talking because it's what is it, 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
No, 8:30 a.m. where you are, and it's 7:30 p.m. now. I mean, it's pitch black outside.
Wow.
So a lot of the time, if you leave me a message or if I leave you a message, there's a bit of time going on as well. But it's such an issue we have with a lot of like our investors and a lot of our advisors as well. It's like sort of like yesterday we had a meeting that was something like, when was it? Something like
8 p.m. to like 10.
Yeah, 8 p.m. till 10 for us, which was 9 a.m. in Eastern time. But then we had a meeting that was something like an hour earlier that was based in LA that was later and things like this. So the time zone things, it just confuses me.
You know, I think that we have to live around the clock, don't we?
Exactly. It's this new connected world that we live in.
Well, we will make it happen again. Christian, it was really nice to meet you. I hope you join us again and let us know. And we'll watch your Twitter feed. Triffic.
Oh, yeah. Great meeting you.
Oh, and also as well, we are hoping to build up our Telegram numbers as well. So if you want to join our Telegram, it's t.me/Triffic, TRIFFIC. So.
Super. And next time I will try to have the Facebook Live tech issues sorted. And but meanwhile, when I post this, I will make sure I put all of your links.
Brilliant.
In the content, and we will make sure people get in touch with you. Okay.
What is it you meant to say now? Like, subscribe, and you point to a non-existent.
That's
title.
right. It's all right down there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, it was so good to talk to you. We'll catch you in a few weeks.